At the start of this training camp period, there are some questions around Josh Giddey's health that surprised a lot of Bulls fans. Well, it seems like he's on pace as Billy Donovan has basically said that he expects Josh Giddey to play in the team's opening preseason game, but Lonzo's still a question mark. We're going to get into all and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot with for everything Chicago Bulls related. My name is Haize, but most importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today, y'all. And we got some updates in regards to the Bulls' first preseason game. Josh Giddey is on track and expected, per Billy Donovan, to play in tomorrow's preseason opening game, which clears a lot of kind of the last bit of doubt around what's going on with Josh Giddey, right? I won't say it's all of it. Of course, you want to see how he's going to fit, those type of things, which is important. And, there was that question after the surprise at Media Day when we heard that Josh Giddey was dealing with a fairly serious ankle injury that had left him out for a little while. And at the start of preseason, Josh Giddey being limited, things like that, not fully being a participant in the contact portion of practices. Well, all that's cleared right now. Josh Giddey right now is expected to play in tomorrow's preseason game. And this is important for the Bulls for a couple of reasons, right? You have a complete change of your starting lineup. You moving players around, Zach LaVine to the 3, Josh Giddey being the starting point guard, and you're trying to work out the chemistry between him, Kobe, and Zach LaVine to try to figure out exactly how this offense is going to go, as well as you got some adjustments to make. Kobe White moving to being more off ball than what he was last year. He still played a lot off ball last year, so that dynamic between Kobe White and Josh Giddey as far as ball handling, whether it's out in transition, whether it's in the half court, those type of things are going to play itself out. And you want these players out there on the court together so you can naturally come up to that conclusion. You got 5 preseason games. And while, preseason isn't anything that's hugely important for a team that's changing not only a lot of its roster, but also its play style, it's more important for the Chicago Bulls than what it's been the last few years because you're trying to work out all those kinks potentially that could be there via the changes that you've had with your roster. So, having everybody out there healthy is really important. It's really good, for that to come down, especially with your starting lineup. And, outside of just the Josh Giddey portion, the Josh Giddey and Kobe portion of things, you also want these players to get used in game speed what it's like playing with Josh Giddey. We heard Zach LaVine last week talk about the fact that Giddey's already caught a couple of players off guard, and they I was about to say they caught some balls to the face. That's a pause, but they didn't get the passes. They ended up getting hit in the face with passes. That's a better way to say that than the no Diddy part of it. So that's really, really good things, right? So that's what you want to be right now with the Chicago Bulls team. And, we're going to see how things continue to develop for the Bulls. This first preseason game, it could be a lot of kinks that need to be worked out. I want to prepare everybody that if the offense looks like absolute shit to start off the preseason, don't be surprised in that. But I think that there's been a lot of time and the little bit that we've seen from training camp and practice so far seems like they've been working out those kinks. And ultimately, you got some professionals in there. These are professional basketball players. They've been playing basketball for the majority of their lives. They can adapt, right? Now, there are 2 questions in there is how long is it going to take to get over that learning curve and adapting? And secondly, how impactful are you going to be and how effective you're going to be once you do adapt? So those 2 questions existing there for the Chicago Bulls are things that aren't going to be answered immediately. They're not going to be answered in day 1. They're not going to be answered in preseason game 1. They're not going to be answered maybe even in the first week of the season, right? But overall, you want those guys to overcome those hurdles. And you can only do that with in-game reps. Billy Donovan can do all he can to simulate actual gameplay for these players. The 14-second shot clock is a really good one. Bringing in refs to run actual scrimmages is another good one. But there's only so much that can be done until you're in the game against opposing teams, and those other teams are making adjustments to what you're doing. And so that's an important piece of all of this as well. And so I'm glad that Josh Giddey is going to be able to be out there. I'm glad that, I think that if Patrick Williams has a breakout year, it's going to be due to a few things, right? His mentality, that's the first and foremost thing. Him moving and cutting to the basket, moving without the ball, but then having somebody like Josh Giddey that is about passing first. Now, he can score some of the mid-range if need be and at the rim, but he's always going to be a pass first point guard. So that kind of puts the onus on other players to move and do those type of things, because Josh Giddey's going to catch you if you're open. Kobe White as well, growing as a playmaker last season. So we could have the type of offense that everything's moving around a lot more freely. And again, game reps is the most important thing with that. Now, the other bit of news that we got also as well today was about Lonzo Ball. And so while Josh Giddey is expected to play in the Bulls' first preseason game tomorrow, there's been some doubt. Billy Donovan would not commit to if Lonzo Ball is going to play or not. He still has a ramp-up period, is the exact quote. But he did not rule Lonzo out. So that's a good thing as well there. He has not ruled Lonzo out. So that's a really important part. If he was ruled out, it would be more concerned than them being in a rep. We know they're in a ramp-up period. Like there should be no surprise to anybody that we're in a ramp-up period. Like that's to be expected. Like Lonzo Ball was out of basketball for almost 1,000 days. There's going to be a ramp-up period. There should be no surprise there. But so if he can play or if he can't play in this first preseason game, it's not as important. And the reason why I said that, I talked about that a little bit today over on Locked On Bulls, is that Lonzo's basically the 10th guy in your rotation. I'm not saying 10th as far as priority or anything like that. I just mean that usually in Billy Donovan's, the way that he runs his rotation is you have a 10th guy in that rotation that doesn't play as consistent. He's not there every game. He may not play a lot of minutes. And Lonzo's kind of now that pseudo 10th guy in that rotation just because he's not going to play back-to-backs. He's going to be in a minutes restriction. So it's kind of best to look at him as whatever amount of time he's able to be out there, it's a good additive, right? And so we'll see as that ramps up for him, of course, over the season. And hopefully we get to a point to where when he gets over that hurdle of playing back-to-backs, if that happens this year, then it's a little bit more consistent for Lonzo. So, Lonzo not being out there in preseason is not as big of a deal as Josh Giddey missed that, in my personal opinion, just because Giddey's your starting point guard. Lonzo, when he's out there, the basketball IQ, all that stuff is needed. It's going to be added. We'll see how much of the defense and stuff translates. But with Josh Giddey being your point guard and a guy you got to make a decision on his contract at the end of this year, it's important that he's out there for the majority of the games and he's able, to overcome all of these things that we can overcome. And so, yeah, listen, I can't wait to see Lonzo out there. I hope it's sooner rather than later. I do hope that he can play a few games in this preseason, and who knows? Maybe he still does play in the first preseason game tomorrow. And if he does, I wouldn't necessarily expect a whole lot of minutes coming from there. But, it is what it is when it comes down to it. So 5 preseason games, 5 tune-ups is the way to look at it for the Chicago Bulls in this preseason. And they got a lot of things that they need to be trying to tune up, get together, get on the right page. All those things need to happen. And so as that develops, we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited for this Bull season. I know, I still don't think this team is going to win a whole lot of games, for example, but I'm excited about the season. There are so many storylines, so many things that can play a part into the Bulls' future, so much, newness with this team. And, if this team really does implement that new play style and sticks to it, that's the thing in this as well. I don't know if I trust Billy Donovan the moment there's some adversity to not go back to Billy Donovan-isms. But if he does not, and he can overcome that, it is what it is when it comes down to it, man. So we'll see. Let's see how you guys are feeling. Fucking with the shirt. I appreciate I think I got this shirt for like $8. I think I got this shirt for like $8. It's an Ultra Game shirt, but it's really, really comfortable. It's really comfortable. What up, my G Haize? What's going on, YNG? Glad to have you in the building. Lord Zobey in the building with laughing at me almost saying they're catching balls to the face. I mean, listen, it is a true statement, but like we live in a pause era. That's the era that this is going to be looked at, is the pause era. Like you got to be so particular about certain things that you say because listen, this is post Diddy. Post Diddy era is wild, right? You got to say no Bobby after stuff. Like it's just we live in a society. We live in a society. And it's a strange society. There's a lot of freaky ass niggas out there. So you got to be careful of what you say, man, because it's wild out there in these streets, bro. It's wild out there, man. R. Kelly and P. Diddy messed it up for everybody, bro. Like you got to be particular in what you say. You can't go certain places at certain times, man. It's crazy out there in these streets, man. Hit the like phone in. What's going on, Bulls Daily? Glad to have you in the building. Wouldn't it be helpful for Kobe to be off ball considering Giddy's playmaking? Yeah, it'd be helpful, but you still got to play Kobe White. You can't. Here's the thing: you can't try to force somebody to be a player that they haven't. Now, you can hope that they can adapt, but Kobe White's been terrible off ball. He's not been Gordon. That's why when people try to always compare, and not everybody does that, when certain people try to compare Kobe White to Ben Gordon, I'm like, do you actually watch basketball? Or are you just looking at two shooting guards that can score? Because Kobe White is not Ben Gordon. He shoots the ball 32% in catch and shoots. Ben Gordon was an elite catch and shoot player in his time with Chicago Bulls, but you want to adapt. And so but Kobe's still going to have his opportunities to handle the ball, but that is still where his strengths is. Getting to the teeth of the defense, that's how he play makes. So you still want some of him handling the ball for sure. Little Bulls fans, what's going on, brother? Glad to have you in here. Can't wait for the Bulls to go 4-1 and watch that. Bro, the year that we went undefeated in preseason was literally, I was like, hey, y'all, like, come on, man. What are we doing out here, bro? Oh my God, that year we went undefeated in preseason. I think we've done it a couple of times in like the last decade and a half as well. Every time we go undefeated in preseason, Bulls fans take that shit and they be like, hey, yo, title number 7 is in town. It's like, and then let them lose the first opening season game. Then people are like, oh my God, we suck. Like the wild swings, like bull, and people be so surprised, or people get offended when I be like the bipolar Bulls fans. Some of you motherfuckers is crazy. It's crazy. Damn, Haize, lay down and go to sleep, man. I know you're tired of shit. You the first one on some Bulls content and some shit come out. Much love to you, you workaholic. You know what? It's not really. That's the thing. When and I never understood this until I got into doing this podcasting, because I've had podcasts. Like you guys know, I was podcasting for 5 years before I started Chicago Bulls Central. And those podcasts were like weekly. And there'll be some times where I'm like, damn, I got to do another one of these. Like, I don't get tired at all of doing this. There is never, and I say that with no hyperbole, there's never been a time where I've gotten tired of doing this. Now, there have been times where I've been tired, but not tired of doing this, right? And that comes down to, for example, and this isn't to brag. I know it's going to sound like a brag, but you know what? Fuck it. I get to flex when I want to. We broke the Luke Giddey, the Shane Waldron hiring news. You can go and check it. Go look at your timestamps. Bring up the Wayback Machine to search when things were posted on the internet. We had the first video content out, period, of the Bears hiring Shane Waldron on Bear Central. I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. 4 o'clock in the goddamn morning to talk about the Bears hiring an offensive coordinator. I was sleepy as shit in that video because I had only went to sleep at 1:30. I was sleepy as shit in that video. So there's been times where I've been tired, but not tired of doing this. So there you go on that one. I got the same shirt, but mine is in red. Oh, they made a red one like this? I would have definitely copped the red one if I saw a red one like that. That no Bobby was hilarious, bro. That no Bobby was definitely hilarious. That wouldn't fly pre-Diddy. Yeah, true. Balls to the face is kind of it's kind of that's one that just wouldn't in any era that's a bit questionable. But listen, at least I ain't on the path to the designer. Listen, once Pat the Designer posted that clip, I felt like everything's a go at that point in time. Like I could say some crazy shit, but I ain't saying no shit like that. So listen, as long as that's out there in the universe, it lives in the ether, I'm in the clear of anything that I want to say. That's all I can say. You can pause, but I'm still in the clear is all I'm saying on it. That's all I'm saying. We got to start saying no Haize after all this pause comments. No, it's no Bobby. The Bobby one. Bob, if y'all don't watch Bear Central, go back and watch the pregame show yesterday. Bobby was straight up there. It's like, yeah, you know, I trust my Johnson, but I don't know if I want the Johnson they got over there. And I'm like, all of us. There was 5 of us on the panel. We all collectively was like, hey, Bobby, wait, bro, what did you just say? What did you just say? I could talk Bulls all day long, every day, too. Hey, listen, get up there and start your podcast, Rob. I'll support it. I'll come on if you start one. Everybody who has started a podcast that's initially been in the comment section of Chicago Bulls Central, I've appeared on all their podcasts, all their podcasts, except Chicago Bulls Pin. But that's because I keep telling the motherfucking Nick I'll come on whenever he wants me to. Nick is bipolar with posting. He's a strange cat. You know, we appreciate the hard work, man. You the best Bulls podcaster by far. I appreciate that, DBL. I appreciate that. Wait a second. Is DBL like a BBL for the? You know where I'm going here. What is a DBL, bro? Like, I'm a little worried about your name there, bro. Like, because if you out here getting DBLs, bro, we don't have to have a conversation because I don't want to talk about it. But it does bring about questions, is all I'm saying. Are you saying that instead of a BBL, you got a DBL? I mean, listen, you got to get in where you fit in, bro. So you got to do what you got to do. I'm predicting that right now, y'all think Diddy got it bad in 2024. Jay-Z is going to get it bad in 2025. We'll see. We'll see. Haize dealing out pod episodes like crack in the show Wire. That's crazy. You want these episodes, man? Hey, Haize, can we get some more of them episodes, big dog? Haize, are you in Flow Rider? First of all, we don't look nothing alike, bro. You would have been better off saying Jadena. That would have been a better one for you. You can go with young Lawrence Fishburne because my head's big as hell. You could have gone John to Don. That's another one that you could have gone with. There's a lot better people than Flow Rider. Flow Rider that's not a good comp, bro. That's just not a good one. Like you got to do better than that, Jay Capone. The clip was one of the weirdest motherfucking things I've seen in a hot minute, bro. That was a wild clip. That was a wild clip. Well, so no, he was talking about Jalen Johnson because we have Jalen Johnson on the Bears, and then Chris Johnson is a player on another team. So that's what he was getting into. And so it was comparing that, but he not lying. Haize will show the support. We made everyone realize Haize actually had legs. That's crazy. First of all, the fact that I think that was like the first or second comment on that video was wild, by the way. That's wild. Haize podcast tree gonna be long pause. That's crazy. Let's see. So if you're talking about just sports podcasts, because if you go back to when I started the wrestling podcast, if y'all know the Hameen wrestling podcast network that actually spun off from my Wrestling World podcast network, but that's a story for another day. So we're talking about just Chicago Bulls Central. So of course you got everything of mine that spun off from that. Bulls Central, Bears Central, Sky Central, White Sox, Cubs Central, Blackhawk Central, of course. So that you're 6-7 deep right there. Then of course you got Let's Talk Bulls, who said that he started this podcast from watching me. So we'll take that. Nick from the Chicago Bulls pen. You got that one. You got there's another one. There's a lot. There's probably a lot. There's a lot out there. DBL double cuz my initials are DD. Oh, gotcha. I was about to say that's wild. That's crazy. The whole BLK entertainment is doomed. Time to usher in the new world of Hollywood. Hey, man, it's crazy out there. It's crazy out there. No, the late comment was funny. Like I had to even laugh at that one. That's why I was like, hey, bro, chill, man. You got to chill. Not too much on me and my legs, bro. You got to chill on that one, man. But yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. People really just think I'm a flirt. Y'all think I'm Jay Capone out here. I'm just out here rolling. It's just I'm out here rolling. Like this is, that would be funny as hell. If this was actually a wheelchair, and when we have a live event, I just come in that bitch like, what up? Yeah, motherfuckers be like, hey, what the shit? Yeah, absolutely. I'll still shoot your ass though. I will still shoot you. So that's what it comes down to. No, but man, I'm really excited. I don't know how everybody else is feeling. I am super excited. We got Chicago Bulls basketball tomorrow. We get to actually talk about basketball. That's the thing that's most fun about all this. We get to talk basketball, not just theoreticals to go in the game, not the X's and O's. We get to talk about actual basketball. 48 minutes of basketball. That's what we get to talk about. Win, loss, play, who made shots, who missed shots. Now, do not make any mistake. Do not expect to see a lot of the starters in the first preseason game. I would not be surprised if we don't see a lot of the starters, but it is what it is, man. I probably not catch the first preseason game. I probably might not catch the first preseason game, I guess is what you meant there, tomorrow, because I'm going to be flicking from NXT and AEW at the same time. Listen, you got to make your priorities, brother. Record one. I would have been crying if that boy rolled up. Hey, listen, if I would have, hey, bro, you got to help me up these steps in this wheelchair, bro. Like that, Vaughn would have been like, hey, man, what are you doing? So, Haize like Eddie Murphy early in Trading Places. I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know what you mean by that. Uh Bulls is almost back. I'm actually excited. I had to take a small break from CHGO. There was way too much complaining at one point. I just want to watch my favorite team hoop, man. Was CHGO complaining? Listen, those are my boys. I'm just gonna be clear here. Big Dave and Matt Peck are two people that in this game, in this podcasting game, there are like four people who, no matter when they call me, no matter what they ask as far as appearing on an episode, whatever, that I would clear my schedule for. Matt and Big Dave are two of those people. Of course, everybody on Chi-Town Sports goes without saying. Pat, the designer, that goes without saying as well. Quentin from Let's Talk Bulls, that goes. It's probably more like 10 people as I start naming people. Vaughn, these are guys that literally anytime they need me, if they need me on an episode, if they need me to promote, if they need whatever, I'm there. No question about it. There's no question about that. But Matt and Big Dave, keep in mind, like I told people before, I've been listening to Matt and Big Dave when they were on the Debatables, and most people may not even remember that. That was a show that actually wasn't Big Dave. It was Matt Peck, and I think that was when it was Jordan. I think they started a podcast called Debatables. That was before they even got Locked on Bulls, and I've been listening to those guys for almost a decade. Doug Tonis, I've been listening to Doug Tonis since I was about 22 years old. That's about 15 years. So, like, these are guys that I've been listening to for forever, and now they're my peers, right? Like me and Matt and Big Dave, anytime I'm in Chicago, anytime I'm in Bulls Fest, we link up. And so it's just crazy to see that, man. It's crazy to see. October, the best month for sports. Just wish Cubs had made it in. Listen, I'm not a Cubs fan. I'm a White Sox fan. So, I ain't gonna be too hopeful to see the Sox play in October anytime soon. So, it is what it is there. So we really need an antenna at the same damn time. I think isn't it available on an app too? If I'm not mistaken, isn't it available free on an app? Let's see. Hold on. Okay. So one thing, if you had NBC Sports Chicago on your they've taken over the channels that NBC Sports Chicago was. So if you had NBC Sports Chicago in the past, you should have CHSN. But I do think that there's an app. Maybe it hasn't launched yet. Why did I think that they were going to have an app? Yeah, it doesn't look like it launched yet. Because I'll take that back. It says available free over the air. That's the antenna. That sucks, man. I had to get an antenna that cost me $20. Well, I mean, listen, $20 to watch every Bulls game. I mean, are we really complaining about that? I have to pay for NBA TV to watch every single Bulls game. So there you go on that one. Haize rolling up to the function like Professor X if he had a wheelchair. Facts, bro. Facts. I love their content for sure, but sometimes they be trying to push that tank narrative too. I can get what you're getting at with that. I mean, honestly, I can get what you're getting at with that. Do you know if CHSN going to be on through cable? I heard you need an antenna league pass to catch games. No. So hold on. They announced the broadcast channels. Give me a second because it's on. I know the channels. They announced the direct TV channels and everything. Okay, so program guide pages here. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to find it. Because I talked about it before. They announced the channels that they were going to be on like, I think it wasn't on Direct TV, but it is on Comcast, one or the other. I have to try to find it and I'll talk about it later if I can. But they announced the channels that it's on. You don't have to have an antenna. Now, if you just want it over the air and you don't have cable, yeah, you need the antenna. But they did announce the channels that they were going to be on. Hold on, I'm gonna see if I can find it for you guys. This is just exhilarating podcasting, ain't it? Huh. Where is it at? Come on now. Okay, so it will air on Direct TV. If you're on the Direct TV, the fuck just you fuck face ass motherfucker. What the fuck are we doing here? Son of a bitch. How the hell did I get logged out? All right, so it's on channel. Okay, Direct TV is on channel 665. 665 on Direct TV. They have not announced a partnership deal with Comcast yet. If you want the HD, so 665. There you go. If you got Direct TV. Doug Tonis, that asshole, suspended me on Real GM for saying something about the Bulls. They later that listen. Doug, so there's something that, and I need you guys to hold me accountable for this. I want to be clear here. I'm always going to say this. I need everybody to hold me accountable for saying this. This is something that I've noticed, and this isn't at Doug Tonis specifically. This is every podcaster and content creator almost generally, right? It's something that I've noticed is that it once in most a lot. I won't say most. A lot of content creators, after they've been doing and covering your team for so long, it's the whole saying of you either die the hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. That's what it really has become with content creation. People either stop creating content while they still, before they turn or whatever, or they turn into curmudgeonly old men and then they hate everything. It's just the way that it's gone. I've seen it happen way too many times in my lifetime. And that's just the way that it happens. It's just the way that it happens. I hate it. I don't agree with it. It actually sucks, but that's the way that it happens. So Doug Tonis, I have seen Doug Tonis online, and I will say this: that's not the same Doug Tonis that I knew back when Twitter used to be before there was porn on Twitter, because y'all nasty motherfuckers didn't ruin the app. But back when you literally used to just get and only see the people you would follow, I like Doug Tonis he was like the mailbag episodes I got. I took that idea from early Bulls Beat, not modern Bulls Beat, but I'm talking about like 2007, 2008 Bulls Beat, because I used to call in on Doug Tonis's mailbag all the time. So when I started the Chicago Bulls Central, I was like, hey, that was really cool that he used to do that. I want to do that to interact on my side, on my show. And so like he used to be mad cool. Like you used to be able to tag him in things. He'll be like, yeah, I'll try to ask that question when I'm at Summer League or whatever. Like Doug Tonis now, listen, Doug Tonis is a curmudgeonly old man. Absolutely. Absolutely. How's League Pass going to be impacted by the switch if there's any change at all? Just asking for myself and other fans who may be in a different country. It doesn't change at all. So the keep in mind, the League Pass rule on streaming does not affect local broadcast. So the local broadcast in Chicago, which is what CHSN is, it doesn't impact that. The only time you will not be able to watch a game on League Pass is if it's nationally broadcasted. So meaning ESPN or TNT, right? And I think the Bulls only have one TNT game and like 4 ESPN games. So that's it. So other than that, nothing really changes. They lag sometimes though, so there's that, and you have to watch on a computer or device with a web browser. That we're talking about with crack streams and streams east, meth streams, that type of thing. Yeah. Doug even quit Real GM and came back, and since he's been throwing draft parties every year, everybody just runs with whatever he says. I mean, that's kind of how it is when you've been in this game long enough, right? It is what it is. So, hey, who's the most plugged in NBA reporter in your perspective now that Shams has joined ESPN? He finna rise up even more. I mean, it's Shams. I can't stand Brian Windhorst. I think that Brian Windhorst says a lot of speculation, but says it as reporting. And because of where he works and who he is, it gets reported as like it's reporting, but really he just be speculating. So there's that. Now I mess with your channel. I used to watch Nick Fan TV podcast, and I saw them get big. I see you getting big also. Listen, I love being on Nick's Fan TV. I think I've been over there 3 times now. He's just a really good dude. He's just a really, really good dude, man. Let's one of the assistant coaches bring the Bulls a win if Billy sets out a game and fans will be, oh, that's a fact. People still talk about, oh my God, Chris Fleming, the 9-0 run. It was Chris Fleming, and people forget, hey, we were 4 games into that run when Chris Fleming took over. And Billy Donovan was calling in all the game plans. Like Chris Fleming was great at the adjustments. He was really quick on the adjustments. But yeah, people just, it's narratives, man. It's narratives. Haize looked like a DJ Ginger Man. That is hilarious. Now that's funny. I got to give you a credit for that one. That's funny. But it still doesn't beat the fact that you look like a transformer. Like that's still always going to take the cake there, bro. Comcast on punishment. CEO caught at Diddy. Wait, is that for real? Is that real? Or are you just saying? Hold on. Now I got to see. Listen, the one thing that I can't wait is till all these celebrities that they got on tape for the Diddy parties, like, because they already alluded to, like, yeah, we got some more celebrities on tape. They're trying to make them start snitching on Diddy. But once that list comes out, be prepared for your favorite celebrity for you to look at them different. Question, Haize, when is the new network going to air for CHSN? I can't access the games. Oh, it's airing tomorrow. All 5 preseason games on CHSN, all the regular season games, unless they're nationally televised on CHSN. They're starting right at the top. Right at the top. The Reinsdorf shitting on people's ability to watch their games can't make this up. I mean, the Reinsdorfs are a business, man. That's what it is. First of all, ginger beef is wild. That's a wild comment, my boy. That's a wild comment. That's wild. That's crazy. Ginger beef is wild. That's crazy. Looking forward to seeing Modest. Yeah, facts. I'm looking forward to seeing Modest as well. And I hope that he can crack this rotation this year. I know some people have some doubts. I don't necessarily have as big as doubts as some people do on if Modest Busilis can crack the rotation. I understand why they're there. Like, make no mistake about it. It's not that I don't understand why people have those doubts, but I'm just not too worried about it. Now, maybe that blows up in my face. That's definitely a big possibility there. But overall, I'm not too worried about it. I don't get CHSN. Oh, well, I have to figure out a way to watch NBA TV. NBA TV. Starting 5 for tomorrow. I think now with Josh Giddey healthy, Patrick Williams has been a full go as well. I think you're going to see the actual starting 5. I think you're going to see Josh Giddey, Kobe White, Zach LaVine, Patrick Williams, Nikola Vucevic. Now, how surprised would y'all be if they announced the starting 5 and it's Jalen Smith? So we'll see there. Can we make it look like Javon Carter was at the Diddy party, get him off the team? That's crazy. That's crazy. I think this is the season Io gets national attention in terms of being one of the biggest commodities in the league. His skill set is amazing for the current NBA. Facts. I think personally that this is with Io DeSumo's contract expiring next year. I think between now, at the start of this season, and next year's trade deadline, so that's a full season and a half, you're going to see a lot more talk around teams being interested in Io DeSumo. He's one of the best value contracts. The fuck was that? The fuck? When you pair in the age and the value of the contract, teams then I think are going to hope that the Bulls are willing to blow it all up, which I will say this, make no mistake about it, depending on if the Bulls keep their top 10 pick, if they keep their top 10 pick and it's like 9, 10 or something like that, where it's not a big man and maybe a guard that they have to get, don't be surprised if Kobe or Io get on the trade market. Now, it's not something that I want to see. I hope that the Bulls can get a big. I hope they can get a power forward and keep this thing going of this core that we have. But there's a chance of that being the case. So we'll see what happens there. Buzilis will crack the rotation if Alexander Sarr look better in this preseason opener than in Vegas. Look for Modest to look like an all-star tomorrow night. I mean, everybody's progression is differently. That's not really a one-for-one comparison that you can make. I definitely understand where you're getting at, though. Do you think Vooch can actually have a resurgence in something like a 22-point per game and 12-rebound game season, or is that completely dead? No, I think, listen, Vooch with having more spacing and DeMar DeRozan not being in the mid, because keep in mind, like I always point out, Vooch and DeMar DeRozan start their offense from the same spots. With now having Vooch be able to start his offense in a more natural place for him, I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility Vooch can put up like 20 and 12, 20 and 11 or something like that. But the question is how impactful is that, right? Like that's the question as well in that. Now, I don't know. I'm not a Vooch hater. So, it is what it is when it comes down to that. But that's why Javon was wearing the hoodie during practice. He was hiding from the Fed. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's wild. That's wild. That's sick. I don't see Vooch being moved. I don't see many teams in need of bigs, especially after the cat. What are you talking about, bro? You don't see many teams that need bigs. The Pelicans need a big. That's right off the top of my head. The Pelicans need a big. And while Zach Edey could definitely work out for the Memphis Grizzlies, if he doesn't for whatever, they can use a big. Who else? Trying to think off the top of my head. I'm not really looking. Let me look at a list of teams that I could think of off the top of my head that could need a big. The New York Knicks could still need a big, but it could be a very different big than what Nikola Vucevic is. The Utah Jazz could need a big, especially if they move Walker Kessler. I can see them needing a big. The Los Angeles Lakers are definitely going to be in consideration for a big because Anthony Davis doesn't want to play center. I think the Clippers could eventually be in tune for a big as well. There are a lot of teams that could actually be looking for a big, bro. The Atlanta Hawks could be looking for a big if they move on from Clint Capella. There's a lot. There's a lot of that the teams that could be looking for a big. Eco Bean points out the Orlando Magic. So, yeah, there's some teams that could definitely be looking for a big there, Vern. I would like to see one of those camp invites play, specifically Lindell. I think you're going to see a lot of them play. I think you're going to see a lot of them play in these first couple of preseason games, maybe even 4 out of the 5 preseason games. Because keep in mind, the Bulls kind of know their starters. And while, yes, you want to play the minutes so they can get in rhythm and everything like that, there's still that possibility that not the possibility, you're still trying to figure out who's going to get your last roster spot. So you're probably going to see Batum. You're probably going to see THT. You're probably going to see Kenny Lofton. You're probably going to see EJ Liddell. You're going to see a lot of these guys, I think, still play. Well, NBC Sports is no more, Devon. But as I was saying earlier in the stream, if you on the channels that NBC Sports used to be on, that's where CHSN is going to be. They've basically taken over all their channels. I think they even took over their website. So, Rockets, could the Rockets be in the? I think if Şengün stays healthy, I don't know if they are looking for a big. I could be wrong on that. Like, keep in mind, like I'm a Bulls fan first, so I'm not following every team as in-depth as I follow the Bulls. But they got Steven Adams and Şengün there. So I don't know if they'll necessarily be looking for a big. But I could be wrong on that one. Golden State Warriors, they definitely couldn't use a big. That definitely, there you go on that one as well. Good point. So yeah, Vern, there's a lot of teams that could be looking for that. Do you think Jalen Smith starts at some point? That's not how you spell his name, but I there could be a chance of that. There definitely could be. Stylistically, he makes sense. He makes sense. Who called Bronny the young goat? The fuck are you talking about? Who called Bronny the young goat? This Nick? Listen, first of all, he's a crackhead. TBO admittedly does heroin. You gotta let him go. Like he just be high, bro. He just be high. The boy just be high, man. But all right, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and get ready and wrap this up like I didn't do when my 4 children were born. But nonetheless, I love you guys, man. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and being the best part of Chicago Bulls Central. I appreciate you guys so much. You guys are so important to everything that we do here. Tomorrow, game day. Tomorrow, game day is back, man. Pre-game show, halftime hangout, post-game show, all going down live tomorrow on the channel for the first time in 5 months. We are getting back to talking basketball live, breaking down the game. I appreciate you guys so much for everything that you mean and do for this channel. Said it before many times. I suck at promoting this channel on social media, so I appreciate you guys for everything of how you help this channel grow. Tell your mamas, tell your mama's mamas, tell your baby's dad, your baby mama's cousin, tell your boyfriends, uncle, baby, auntie, whatever. All subscribe to Chicago Bulls Central. We're trying to get up the goal this season. Right? So we had the 20K goal last season. We hit that. The goal this season is 25,000 subscribers by the end of the season. That is the goal this season. So tell everybody to follow, hit that subscribe button. Love you guys. Go Bulls. See red. and we'll see you guys live and in action tomorrow. Unless news drops today, then I'll be live again. Love you guys. Go Bulls.